We love these kind of scenes, right? Towns coming out to welcome home state championship teams. Some even get police escorts into town. We also love big school assemblies cheering state champs after they come back with a trophy. These PepCon celebrations happen in a few lucky schools each year, mostly for sports teams. Well, this is Gonzaga Prep's assembly for their state championship football team 2 years ago.
But a couple of weeks ago, that same school celebrated one student in a similar way, but not for athletic success, but for his perfect score on an important college test. Jacob NORDHAGEN got every question right on the ACT. That's a nationwide standardized test that most students have to take to get into college. So that whole thing is pretty cool. And then when we started asking about Jacob and his amazing test score, we found more to his story.
Yeah, I had the chance to ask him about his family, which led me to a revelation about his great-grandparents. Now, they are two amazing people whose legendary love captivated all of us and people around the world, really, back in 2013. Turns out Jacob's story includes much more than his perfect score. Of the 874 students enrolled at Gonzaga Prep, today they're about to turn down the house lights for one.
That's because one of our classmates did something remarkable.
So remarkable, it's achieved by only about 1/10 of 1% out of millions of high school students.
The highest score possible on the ACT was 36.
And while the student who accomplished this extraordinary feat is not one to grab the spotlight,
First and foremost,
short of diving out of the spotlight, today there's no avoiding it.
ladies and gentlemen, if you would turn your attention to the center aisle and give a huge round of applause to Jacob!
Even more rare, Jacob NORDHAGEN is still a junior. The 16-year-old took the ACT to just kind of identify any weaknesses. Turns out, no weaknesses here.
At first when I saw it, I'm like, oh wow, I got a 36.
So when he showed us his score, he couldn't believe it. So he's like, Dad, this is for real? And then my husband was like, I think that's a sample. I think that's a sample score.
You sure that's your actual score?
And like, that's his name right on top of it though. So I think that's pretty much his score.
First, I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's my real score.
It was rough, I know, it was.
It's both real and, according to his chemistry teacher, kind of unreal.
I've never seen that, ever. I didn't even know it was possible. You did all bring the little periodic tables. The joke answer would be, he was nothing before he came to me.
The real answer, says Mr. Flanagan,
Multiple choice?
is that Jacob doesn't really need much coaxing.
I read a lot, and I'm taking a computer science class, and I'm kind of dabbling in coding.
SP2.
While it may seem like this kid does nothing more than dabble in decimals and data, Jacob is also sharp on the soccer field. But I learned where he really shines is in a different field entirely.
I'm actually part of the 5th generation to work on this farm. These are our chickens. We've got pens along both walls here.
Chickens, cows, and when the weather warms, a bounty of produce too. Running this Chatteroy farm takes a lot of work from family, which includes Jacob and his 3 younger brothers.
I'm Andrew, and I'm 15.
I'm Caleb, and I'm 13 years old.
I'm Lucas, and I'm 9 years old.
Yeah, what we're doing here is really just kind of a continuation of the family legacy.
It turns out the NORDHAGEN family legacy includes a celebrated love story. Jacob's great-grandparents are Floyd and Margaret NORDHAGEN.
They were just really nice people.
A pair filled with a love for others and for each other.
Say hi to Puppy.
Floyd was known for bragging about his wife's beauty and how lucky he was that she chose him. The two did not like to spend time apart. When Floyd could no longer push the lawnmower by himself, the two pushed it together. People who knew these two knew they were witnessing a love that was almost legendary.
People saw that they were holding hands when they passed away. That was even more special, I think.
That final day of their 68-year marriage came abruptly in October of 2013. Family says it was God who took Floyd and Margaret together in this crash. Their final act of love even stunned troopers who found the couple hand in hand in the wreckage.
You know, you don't see that every day. We actually had to ask her to let go of him so that we could get him out of the car.
It's a story of love that lasts a lifetime, which I think is rare these days.
Which is why the story of Floyd and Margaret's unbreakable bond was shared by people across the U.S. and beyond. Something that may solely appear tragic, perhaps also a gift.
I honestly don't know what they would have done without each other. So in a way, it was a blessing that they went at the same time.
So you see, Floyd and Margaret together are woven into the fabric of their farm, woven into Jacob and his brothers too. Their goodness is alive and well in Jacob, who pours his heart into the farm, where bonds seem to grow stronger than steel.
Oh, they'll be really, really proud.
Proud of the kid who has his sights set on Stanford, a school fittingly known as the Farm. And while this stunningly perfect college admissions test should help Jacob get to that farm, much like Floyd and Margaret, Jacob will likely never linger far from this one.
Being with my family is my favorite thing to do.
Perhaps that's why the NORDHAGEN family cultivates such beautiful eggs, perfect produce, and an extraordinary crop of people too.